Who decides what it means to be a woman? Is it something defined by society, by law, or by our own sense of self? This question, which might seem straightforward at first glance, is actually layered with history, culture, and personal experience. It's a question that seems simple at first, but when you start to dig deeper, you realize it touches on some of the most fundamental ideas about identity, belonging, and acceptance. In the United Kingdom, this question has sparked important conversations about gender identity and the law. Politicians, activists, and everyday people are all weighing in, each bringing their own perspectives and experiences to the table. We're seeing more and more debate about what it means to be transgender and how the law treats trans people. These discussions are happening everywhere, from Parliament to social media, from newsrooms to living rooms. These aren't just abstract legal arguments, they have a real impact on people's lives. For many, the outcome of these debates can affect their sense of safety, their rights, and even their ability to live authentically. It's not always easy to talk about these things. The conversations can be emotional and sometimes even painful because they touch on who we are at our core. But it's important to listen to different points of view and try to understand the experiences of people different from ourselves. Only by opening our minds and hearts can we hope to find common ground and move forward together. In this essay, we'll look at how the UK law approaches the definition of woman and what it means for transgender women. We'll examine the legal frameworks, the debates in Parliament, and the real-world consequences for those affected. We'll hear from people on different sides of this complex issue. Their stories and opinions will help us understand why this question is so deeply personal and why it matters to so many. And we'll explore why these debates matter so much, not just for those directly involved, but for society as a whole. Because at its heart, this is a story about identity, dignity, and the ongoing struggle for equality. So, how does UK law actually define woman? It's a question that's become increasingly important in recent years as debates about gender identity and legal rights have come to the forefront of public discussion. The answer is complicated. There's no single clear-cut definition that applies in every situation. Instead, the law can vary depending on the context, whether it's family law, employment, or access to public services. This complexity often leads to confusion, not just for individuals, but also for legal professionals and lawmakers. In some cases, the law relies on a person's biological sex, assigned at birth. This is often determined by documents like birth certificates, which record the sex of a baby at the time of birth. These documents can play a crucial role in legal matters such as marriage, inheritance, and parental rights. But in other cases, the law recognizes gender as something separate from biological sex. This means that a person's lived experience and identity can also be taken into account, especially in situations involving discrimination or equal treatment. The Gender Recognition Act of 2004, for example, allows trans people to obtain legal recognition of their gender identity. This law was a significant step forward, giving trans individuals the right to be legally recognized in their true gender. However, this process can be long and difficult. It often requires medical diagnoses, detailed evidence of living in their acquired gender, and navigating a complex application system. For many, the journey to legal recognition is filled with emotional and bureaucratic challenges. The lack of a clear, universal definition of the word woman has led to a series of complex legal challenges and ongoing debates in the UK and around the world. This issue is not just theoretical, it has real consequences for people's lives, rights, and access to services. Some people argue passionately that trans women should be legally recognized as women in all circumstances without exception. They believe that gender identity is a core part of who someone is, and that the law should reflect and affirm this reality to ensure dignity and equality for all. Supporters of this view say that legal recognition is essential for protecting trans people from discrimination and for allowing them to participate fully in society, including in areas like healthcare, education, and employment. Others, however, hold different views. They argue that biological sex remains important for certain legal protections, social categories, and the preservation of women's rights. For them, the distinction between sex and gender identity is significant, especially in contexts like sports, prisons, and women's shelters. These individuals may feel that changing the legal definition of woman could have unintended consequences, potentially affecting the fairness and safety of single-sex spaces, and raising questions about how laws are interpreted and enforced. As a result, there have been a number of high-profile court cases and legal challenges related to these issues, drawing national attention and sparking heated public discussion. These cases often revolve around access to single-sex spaces, such as restrooms and changing rooms, as well as employment rights, and the responsibilities of organizations to accommodate different identities. At the heart of many of these debates is the application and interpretation of the Equality Act 2010, a key piece of legislation that aims to protect people from discrimination while balancing competing rights and interests in a rapidly changing society.
The principal issues raised on this appeal are questions of statutory interpretation. The two United Kingdom statutes which we are interpreting are the Gender Recognition Act 2004 and the Equality Act 2010. The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex.
For many trans women, the debate about legal definitions is, well, deeply personal. They say it's about being recognized for who they truly are. Imagine being told that the law doesn't see you as the woman you know yourself to be. Many trans women talk about the pain and frustration of not having their gender identity fully recognized. They highlight the importance of being able to live authentically and have their rights respected. For them, it's about equality, dignity, and being treated with basic human respect. The way we define woman has real-world consequences. It can affect a trans woman's ability to access healthcare, housing, and employment. It can also impact their safety and well-being. Trans women are disproportionately affected by hate crimes and discrimination. They may face prejudice and misunderstanding in their daily lives. When the law doesn't fully recognize their gender identity, it can make it harder for them to get the support and protection they deserve. The conversation about gender identity and the law is ongoing. It's a complex issue with strong feelings on all sides. But one thing is clear. It's crucial that we approach these conversations with empathy and respect. We need to listen to trans voices, understand their experiences, and work towards a future where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued for who they are. This isn't just a matter of legal definitions. It's about creating a society that's fair and just for everyone. It's about recognizing the humanity and dignity of all people, regardless of their gender identity. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe for more update on world news.